I had made Shane aware of all of this from the beginning, from the minute it happened, and I am not that person to say, like, don't be friends with someone, but it's just like the constant promoting of Jeffree and just how awful and evil he is. Like, it really makes me sick to my stomach. And I literally just can't take it anymore. I just can't take it anymore, and I didn't want to be that person to also be like, he did this, and this to me, and because to me it's just mean girl stuff. It's just him being mean and awful, but this is taking it to another level, and I don't support it, and I'm saying that now. I don't support it. I don't support this, and I'm just scared. I'm just really scared right now.
Just letting you guys know, you can listen to my No Bleeps podcast anywhere you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel. Link in the description. Hey guys, it's Billy and welcome back to Sesh. Today's video is absolutely insane. Trisha Paytas made a video titled Why I'm Scared of Jeffree and Hair by Jay, where she is literally in tears, so sad, so worked up over Jeffree Star, how afraid she is of him, how nasty he was to her in the past, and how absolutely hurt she is that Shane and Ryland still continue to promote Jeffree Star. She is still friends with Shane and Ryland, but this is the first time we're ever hearing her express the fact that she is literally so broken and so hurt by the fact that they stand by Jeffree despite all that he has put her through. And honestly, you guys, I believe her, and I'm going to show you exactly why, because there are a lot of receipts to back up a lot of the things that Trisha is saying in this video. So basically, this drama all stems from a trip that was talked about last year. A year ago on Valentine's Day, Trisha took a trip with Jeffree Star and a group of his friends. They went to Las Vegas together. I even made a video about it titled Trisha Paytas is Afraid of Jeffree Star. And this comes into play during this drama right here because Trisha is finally opening up about all of the stuff that came out last year. She says she's finally, ready to talk about it. She felt like last year wasn't the time to talk about it. She was scared she was going to get canceled. Jeffree's stans were going to come at her. There were other things about Jeffree coming out that she felt were more important. She didn't want to take any attention away from the important things that were being said. So this is the time where she has finally hit her breaking point now that Jeffree Star's hair person has threatened her and that Ryland is continually posting about Jeffree and Shane is continually posting about Jeffree and they're hyping him up on Ryland's podcast. So the reason why she made this video was because she had recently made a comment about how when they were on this Vegas vacation trip, Jeffree was providing everyone with like the room and the flight and all of that stuff and hair and makeup while they were there. Trisha ended up leaving the trip early because they were making fun of her and she felt really bad about herself. In a recent video, she was calling Hair by Jay out, saying that he overcharged her. Jeffree was originally going to front the bill for the hair and the glam, but because she left early, she ended up with a bill. And that's what she was talking about in one of her recent videos. And Hair by Jay actually saw her video, and that's when he went on live to go off on her and talk bad about her and say all these nasty things and say, yes, we were talking bad about you. We were talking bad about your skin, saying that she messed with the wrong person, threatening to come and get her. You can hear her crying in the background of the video as she is watching this live. And he is saying things like, how are you going to talk bad about someone who paid for your room, the concert, and your flight? You were so boring on that trip. You were so negative on the trip, saying, yes, we talked bad about your skin. I mean, just look at your skin. And he's holding up a video from her YouTube channel saying that she has really terrible skin, and he's calling her names, telling her she should go on a diet. It's the most disturbing comments. Like, it's just so messed up and it's so nasty. And his whole argument basically was like, how are you gonna say that you had a negative time because everyone was making fun of you when at the end of the day Jeffree paid for you? And it's like, someone can pay for me and take me on a trip and I can still have a really bad time. And if they're mean to me just because they paid for me doesn't mean I'm going to be okay with that. He's like basically going off on Trisha for being boring and not having fun on the trip, when who would have fun when their best friend is making fun of them? And I guess he's just going off about this because she didn't like the way that she got her hair done when he did it. And I don't think that a bad review like warrants these type of comments. You can say, I don't like her, she was not a good client or whatever, but don't make it like about her body and all this stuff. So Trisha's crying in this video. She's saying that she's triggered all over again by the events that happened between her and Jeffree. She's saying he is an actual monster, and then she sees comments seeing Rylan boosting him up and saying that he's a good person, and she's been trying to keep this in for so long. But Jeffree is a mean girl. This is mean girl behavior. Everybody that he travels with, everybody that he brings to Wyoming with him, any type of trip, everyone that went to Vegas is all mean. She stayed quiet because she was scared of Jeffree and thought that she was going to be canceled, but he is awful, his friends are awful, and everyone that supports him is awful. And she's including Rylan and Shane in that too. She said that she tried to tell Shane all of this, but Shane still stuck by Jeffree's side. And I think that is like probably one of the most crazy, hurtful things, because Shane is beyond the point of return on the internet. Like, people do not really want to see him come back at all, but Trisha has stayed loyal to him. And it's very clear. Everyone can see it. She's very loyal to him as a friend. And for him to really take Jeffree's side and just to see how worked up she is about this, that says a lot to me. And it says a lot to other people, because now people are going from Trisha's video to Rylan's video, because honestly, they have the same fan base. And they're like, Rylan, like, we're unsubscribing. We don't want to see you talk about Jeffree on this podcast. How can you support someone who says such terrible and awful things about Trisha? And, you know, one of the crazy things is she said that when they were at dinner one day, she reached for a nacho and Jeffree slapped her hand saying, "Don't eat." And she says it's not like she wasn't thankful and grateful for the trip in general. She offered to pay for things. She offered to be his assistant because she left early this trip. She had such a horrible time on this Vegas trip that she left early because they were hurting her feelings that badly, and she was not in a good mental place at all. She said she went to a mental hospital literally days after this trip. She wasn't in a good place. And for her to have this experience where her best friend is talking bad about her, face, skin, weight, making fun of her, telling her that she's poor, she doesn't have a lot of money, she's renting her house, she can't buy a house when she just bought a house. So I think they can quiet down. Trisha obviously has a lot of money. That's literally not a secret. She says she's tired of seeing people support him and like him, and people that he surrounds himself with are very threatening. They've threatened people in the past. She's so scared of them. And the fact that he continues to surround himself by these types of people just says a lot about his character. And just to prove that these incidences did actually happen, like I said, I made a video about this a year ago because someone named Tab, who was on this trip with Jeffree, ended up speaking out on Trisha's behalf, saying he did not like the type of behavior that was going on this trip. Tab did make a video talking about the fact that Jeffree was being really shady as a friend, and the people that he surrounds himself with, they are not nice people, and they were talking bad about Trisha. And he warned her. He messaged her on Instagram and warned her about it. This was before the entire Shane and Jeffree stuff really started to come down on them. This was the very beginning of people starting to come out and speak against Jeffree Star and his character and say that he hasn't changed at all and he's still super mean like he used to be. Dustin Daly has the actual receipt from last year of when Tab messaged Trisha to tell her that Jeffree was talking bad about her. So for anyone that thinks Trisha is making it up, that someone told her that Jeffree was talking bad about her on this trip, there is some actual proof from someone else that he was actually talking bad about her. He messaged Trisha and said, "Hey Trisha, damn, I don't know where to start, but I will say me and Jeffree are not friends anymore, and I know he says crazy stuff all the time, just kidding, and being wild and non-PC stuff, but I sent you a message after we met and said you were the realest in the room. I was being cryptic in a way. I didn't want to hurt your feelings, or I didn't know if you cared because I didn't know you well, but that night you didn't come out with us after we got back from the club. Jeffree, his hair guy and makeup guy, were saying such bad stuff about you, calling you fat, saying that you had horrible skin and stuff about your hair and money, so many mean things. You don't have to believe me, but I promise it's the truth, and I stood up for you and said I liked you, and they said that you make fun of yourself, so it's okay." Trisha messaged him back and said, "Wow, hey, thank you for this. I believe you 100%. He said a lot of things to my face that made me feel awful that trip, hence why I left early. It is hard because I truly loved him, and I know if I confront him, I will get backlash. You will, and ultimately I'll be the one canceled. It was the first time I saw his true colors. I'm in the same boat though. I just hate drama, and I'm just glad you let me know. I've kept my distance since that trip, and this is just more confirmation. It sucks to hear it, but I'm glad you told me. You were so cool to me, and I'll always appreciate that. I'll reach out to blank as well. I actually genuinely liked him, and Jeffree convinced me not to talk to him anymore. It's all so awful. For now, I'm just not going to say anything. My life is kind of awful right now. Just a lot of personal stuff I don't post, so this is the last drama I need." I actually got a comment under this video when I posted it, and someone said, if Shane doesn't speak up and stand by his friend Trisha that he is known for years, that says a lot about his character. And you guys, literally a month later after I posted this video is when all of the stuff went down and Shane's past came out, and he hasn't been on the internet since. And the craziest thing is, even after that cancellation, Trisha stuck by Shane's side. Even up until last week on the Frenemies podcast, she was saying such amazing things about Shane, wanting him to come back and really rooting for him on the podcast. It's been made very clear that Shane still has a very close relationship with Jeffree Star. He posts about him on his Instagram story any chance he gets, and Rylan promotes him constantly on his podcast. They fangirl over Jeffree literally every single week. And it seems like Trisha is fed up, sick and tired of it, that they are taking his side, and she's finally speaking up about all the nasty things that went down on that Vegas trip. And all the nasty things currently being said about her by Hair by Jay, and saying that Jeffree is condoning this by letting him work for him. These are the people that he surrounds himself with. He was literally in the kitchen of Jeffree Star's latest video, and they're always hanging out together. This is the people that he is with. She really waited to talk about this because of the fact that he's friends with Shane, and she waited to talk about this because she thought that Shane was going to invite him to the wedding, and she didn't want it to be weird at the wedding, and so she didn't want to ever say anything. But Shane still wants to stand by him, and she's pretty much just done with this situation entirely. She is so hurt and worked up. I just feel like she has exploded. She held it in for so long, and after months of seeing Shane and Rylan post about Jeffree, she just needs everybody to know, hey, I'm done. Jeffree is not someone that you should support at all, and they shouldn't support him either. And I know that Trisha coming out and saying this is definitely not a good look for Shane, because now Shane only has Jeffree Star in his corner, and I don't know what good that's doing for him, because that's the reason why he got into trouble in the first place, honestly. Not just because of his old content, but people wouldn't have gone looking if he didn't partner with Jeffree in the first place, and that is the truth. Jeffree Star is now responding on Twitter to this entire situation, because people have obviously been asking him what he thinks about all of this. Someone said, Jeffree Star, if you support what was said to Trisha Paytas in that video, you are trash. I don't care how much money you have. That is mean girl behavior. You need to apologize and fire Hair by Jay. He said, I have personally apologized to Trisha Paytas several times last year about Vegas, and she never responded, which is her right. I respected it, and what happened is between us. Don't drag me into new drama. Not interested. What someone else says does not represent me. Someone else says, imagine if we didn't have social media and no one would know what others did or thought. He said, exactly. I've already said my piece to her, and if she ever wants to call or text me, she will. What Jay said on live was disgusting and does not reflect how I've ever felt. I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm screaming it. My thing is that if he says that he's personally apologized to Trisha Paytas before, and then he's saying now what Jay says does not reflect how I've ever felt, I mean, Jay was literally just saying what you guys were saying, and if you're apologizing, that means you said something. Anyways, someone else said, why would you even want that little working for you? You're a professional business owner. Don't have people like that in your life. What he said was so incredibly mean and wrong. He's a little bully, and you're better than that. He said, I've been in Wyoming and had no idea what was going on. Just catching up now, and I'm horrified by what he said. Let's not pretend I had any part in that. Well, the video that Trisha was watching was uploaded on January 5th, 2021. That was the re-uploaded live stream, and Jeffree Star was seen with Hair by Jay in Wyoming when he filmed his Kanye West response video, which was well past January 5th, so he knew good and well that Hair by Jay had said this type of stuff about Trisha. Trisha then quote tweeted one of Jeffree's responses and says, if you didn't want to be involved in drama, why is he speaking your name in the video on your behalf, confirming all the horrid stuff you guys said about me? I've been cool, but he is speaking on your behalf multiple times in all his feeds. And like I said, Jeffree apologized to Trisha. He said he admitted to apologizing to her, so obviously he did have participation in talking poorly about her. And in this live stream, Hair by Jay is literally just saying exactly what Jeffree and him and everyone else on the trip was saying about Trisha. Hence why she was crying, because she was getting upset all over again because they were saying these things once again to her that were very hurtful and extremely triggering. It honestly sounds like Jeffree has all intentions to still work with this person, and I mean, that just goes to show you his character, and the fact that Shane keeps promoting Jeffree, that just shows his character as well. So I definitely want to know what you guys think about this really insane situation. This is truly unexpected, but I mean, wow, just wow. I never thought that Trisha would be coming out against Shane in any type of way anytime soon, but here we are. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.